Welcome back to the Human Perspective. This month we've been focusing on youth with disabilities. Today's guest is Keri Gray. Keri has an amazing resume. I had the privilege of meeting her about a year and a half ago at a meeting at the National Council on Independent Living, where she was a Youth Transitions Fellow. I was very impressed with her ability to communicate with disabled youth. She's a woman of principles and a respected leader. Today we'll learn a little bit more about what drives Keri in her daily pursuit of equality for disabled people, including disabled people of color. Welcome, Keri.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to, this is an informal discussion which will go on for about 10 minutes. And when did you recognize the diversity within yourself and the need to not compartmentalize these important parts of who you are? And has this unification enabled you to be a more powerful Black disabled woman advocate?
Well, first, thanks for calling me a Black disabled woman advocate, because that's how I want to identify. I want people to see my Blackness, my womanhood, my disability, my spirituality. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want people to see those different components, and that means something to me. I feel when I was in college is when I really started to understand how much I compartmentalized myself, and I'm not okay with that. In college, I literally felt like I was at war with myself and like who I was gonna end up being, how I liked myself, how I loved myself, how I operated in my work and relationships. It was very much split between the different cultures of being a woman, being Black, and being disabled. And so what I mean by that is that at a young age, like early on, I loved my Blackness. I love like being in a Black family, which has issues and has like a lot of joy as well. But I struggled being a woman. Like when I hit college, I quickly formulated a little bit of anger because I was often placed in secretary positions. And I was asked to join and be a part of different groups, different outings, different events, but they wanted me to take notes. I was literally asked that over and over again. They would bypass the men in the group and they would say, Keri, I think you're so organized. You're so good at this. Like, we're going to put you in this position. And I was like, y'all trying to play me, So I soon began to see that there's something about my Blackness, which in the way in which I speak, the way in which I think and see the world, the way in which I realize oppression was real and valuable, but there was conflicting with my potential to grow because people wanted to put me in a certain place as a woman. And I was like, nah, ain't gonna happen. I was also very, very much challenged in college on my disability side.
Yeah, so if you could talk for a second, because you weren't born with your disability.
No. So when I was 8 years old, I was in Long Beach, Texas, and I got diagnosed with osteosarcoma bone cancer in my right leg. And I went to Children's Hospital in Dallas, Texas, and I ended up having to get an amputation after chemotherapy. I also have hearing loss and, just some other issues with my body. And after that experience, I soon had to figure out how is that going to affect me in school? Like, how are my friends going to treat me? How is my family going to treat me? And most of the messages about disability are not that great.
And you felt that when you were 8?
Oh yeah, for sure. You know what I'm saying? Like, when this bald-headed kid in the hospital, they see this image of St. Jude's, you know what I'm saying? They see this image of, we just want to help the kids and save the children. And it's like, there was a time in which I needed that, for sure. But then I got older, and I'm no longer that weak little kid in the hospital. I'm a growing and maturing individual who has these aspirations and these dreams, but people still saw me as this
helpless cripple.
This helpless little cripple, you know what I'm saying? And I fought that as much as I could, because I'm, in Black culture, we strong people. You know what I'm saying? We are very strong. We're, You know, we're very about overcoming the struggle. Like, we know our struggle. And so in my disability side, I was like, I had to suppress that in order to ensure I could still be this label of strong.
When did you start realizing that there was a disability movement, and when did it really start touching you personally?
So I realized there was a disability community when I was 20 years old and I did an internship with the American Association of People with Disabilities. And it was literally the first time I was in a room full of people with all these different types of disabilities. And I was like, yo, these ain't the kids that I was in the hospital with who, I mean, they're dope too, but like, these are people who are, they about something. They can really do their thing and they embody their disability. And that was powerful to me. It's powerful to be able to be in a space and see yourself reflected in a positive light.
Right.
So after that experience is when I began to see maybe there's a way to intersect my ideas and my joy of being Black, the concerns I had about disability. Maybe there's a way to intersect that and also embody confidence in my body and my experiences. And maybe there's a way to fight the man and say, you know what, as a woman, I can do anything and everything I want to. So I've tried to do my best to embody that and continue that since then.
Can you share some examples with our audience of programs that you've helped to develop to work with youth? I mean, it's been like an important, I see you as someone who likes to take action, as you've been saying. So it's turning things that you've seen and know about to helping other people being able to get in touch with who they are, become more empowered, and be able to become more engaged.
So I'm all about solutions. You know, like, we can talk about the struggle all day, every day, and we need to talk about the struggle, but I want to figure out how's my life going to be better at the end of the day. What about tomorrow is going to make me even more successful and make for the people that I care about and who look like me and act like me or even a little bit different is going to be better. So when I was in college, I started this organization called the Young Professionals Association of Abilene. And that was, to me, was important because I wanted young professionals to be able to get together and not feel isolated. Like, you go to a job and you can be the only young person on the job. You can be the only young person of color, young disabled individual. And I'm like, you need to feel supported and seen and validated and heard. And so I wanted to literally just have a space for us to kick it, to talk about the things that are important to us, and to build each other up. I've also, working at Nickel, I started something called the Youth Transitions.
National Council on Independent Living.
Thank you. The National Council on Independent Living movement, independent living, and in the organization I started the Youth Transitions Coordinators Network. And it's a group for folks who work with young people, and oftentimes the coordinators are young people. And again, I wanted to figure out how can we find space and resources and time to ensure that we know what we're doing. And how can we be more inclusive of not just the white, chair user, disabled male, but like, we need some people with afros in our programs. We need some people who speak Spanish in our program. We need some people who understand what it means to immigrate from when they were 5 to now in our programs. And we have to challenge not only ourselves, but the organizations and people who are empowered to say this is what we need in order to be successful. So I've done a few other things as well, but a couple examples.
Well, you can see that this has been a great conversation with Keri, and do you have any parting words that you want to give to us?
Well, one, I definitely want to say thank you, Judy, for inviting me. I think it's important for young people to be able to have an outlet to express who they are and what they're doing. Next, I just want to say and uplift the word intersectionality. If you don't know what it is, have some conversations, do some research, and try to figure it out, because we need that in our work. And lastly, I just want to say to people out there, the more confident that you are in yourself, the more successful you're going to be. So I want to encourage and really urge you to find that journey of what it means to love yourself, to be able to work for yourself and get everything that you need, and that's going to help not only you, but everyone around you.
So thank you very much, Keri. I think, you can see that Keri really embodies a vision through her persona and through her daily actions. And I know there are many of you out there that are similar to Keri, and I really would appreciate learning more about what it is you're doing so we can share it with others. So thank you for joining the Human Perspective today. This is going to conclude our focus on disabled youth during the month of May. Of course, we're going to continue to highlight youth in our ongoing work. I'd like this discussion to be continued in the comment section below. Next month, we will be celebrating LGBTQI Pride. I look forward to our next conversation in 2 weeks with Allison Nickel, who serves as Legal and Policy Counsel to the Zero Project and is the principal of the ADA Civil Rights Training Center. Please don't forget to share today's video. Also follow me on Facebook and Twitter as we continue to share stories and information about the empowerment of disabled people in the United States and around the world. Again, thank you for joining us.